Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Friday, March 1st of 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful week so far. Let's go ahead and hop into these astrological transits for today so we can see how you can be better prepared to navigate these celestial energies. I don't have the transit calendar made just yet, but I will have that made soon. And then as far as the March transit overview, it's gonna be wild. I'm either going to do it Friday morning, like film it Friday morning and have it post like Friday evening or afternoon, or it won't come out until Monday. So just because I'm gonna be decently busy over the weekend. Like I'm gonna be busy Saturday, I'm gonna be busy Sunday. I'm gonna try, like I said, I'm gonna try and get it done if I can. If I can get it done, if I can get that video out tomorrow, I will. But other than that, it may come a little bit late. But at the very least, the calendar will be done. I'm gonna probably finish the calendar like right after I do this video, or I'm gonna start working on it right after I do this video. So in any of it, let's go ahead and bring up that calendar. I mean, not the calendar, the wheel, if you will. All right, cool. All right, guys. So here we are, March 1st, 2024, Friday. It is a new month. On this leap year, we have the moon that's going to be in Scorpio today. It's going to be making a nice T square because it's going to be squaring over to Venus and opposing Uranus. And now it's not exact, but it's close enough. It's within a 2-degree orb. So that's going to be one of the major energies of the day. And then, of course, we do have the sun, which is going to be in sextile to Jupiter. In fact, it'll be exact pretty early in the day, especially here on the East Coast. So we are going to see that pretty early on. And those are like really the main aspects that we're going to see. Now, of course, like I've been saying, sextiles, think opportunity, right? So the sun here in Pisces just got done with this major conzimi with Mercury and Saturn. Now it's moving towards, is moving towards Neptune. Of course, Mercury is going to reach Neptune before the sun does, right? But now it's moving towards Neptune, right? And this sun in Pisces, it's been interesting. I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers today, and I was telling her, I was like, yo, Pisces season, I feel like I should be hibernating. But I really feel like I should be hibernating during this time. And it kind of I think in many ways, a lot of us are feeling that way. Probably because, like I said, Saturn's here, so we're a little bit tired, and our sense of time is just like way off. It's already March, right? Neptune is here, so we're just getting wave after wave of energy, like just wave after wave after wave of different energies and different things and stuff like that. It can be a lot. And the Mercury's here in Pisces, trying to figure all this shit out. But like I said, it's like trying to speak underwater, if you will, or trying to think when there's like 5,000 people talking around you. It's hard to differentiate, like, what are your thoughts, and are your thoughts unique to you, or are you picking it up from someone else? That's the other thing about Mercury and Pisces, is that it is the time of the year whenever Mercury goes into Pisces, or really any water sign, but especially Pisces, people's psychic abilities tend to actually go up a bit. But because it's Pisces and it falls here, it's tough to explain because it's not very logical. So if you're already or empathic or psychic, you're probably feeling it more so. And then you got regular folk, right? And we're all psychic to a degree, right? But people that don't like actively engage with that aspect of themselves or work with that particular skill, they're feeling more psychic right now, and they're probably having difficulty trying to articulate what it is that they're fucking experiencing. They probably think that they're weird. They probably think that they're crazy. And if this was like maybe like 30 to 40, 50 years ago, they might have been thrown in like an insane asylum. But really, it's just Mercury's in Pisces. So everyone is hearing everyone's thoughts more and feeling more into the collective. You got to remember, Pisces is the 12th house. It's the hidden zone. So it's very, very subconscious, especially with the ruler of Pisces here, Neptune. So with the sun here, it's getting closer to that midpoint. It's making the sextile over to Jupiter. And like I said, Jupiter is wanting to expand on the value that we feel, the value that we bring to the table. But And the weird that's the weird thing about this is that this is an opportunity that opens up for us to, feel more into our value and to maybe even identify a little bit more with it, because the sun, yeah, it's vitality. It's about to go into areas where it's exalted, so we'll see that coming into the springtime, right? So we are kind of getting ready for a time where we're going to be more concerned about identification and stuff like that. Jupiter here in Taurus wanting to expand on our values or sense of self-worth. There's an opportunity that can open up here where if we really do believe in ourselves, and of course with Mercury here coming off of the sextile to Jupiter, this is like prime time as far as like if you want to test your ability to manifest, you know, this is really a great time to do it. Now, the weird thing about it is that it's going to seem slow. Like things may not happen immediately. That's because of the buffer that we have with Saturn and Pisces. So that's the thing about manifestations right now in general, is that it seems like things are not going to happen as fast. Now we do have Mars and Aries, and Mars is about manifestation as well. It's really Saturn and Mars. A lot of times people like to think that's Jupiter and Venus, and I can see that, but it's really Mars. It's Mars that go get 'em kind of energy. It's the initiator, it's the spark, right? And then Saturn is like actually the effort, if you will, putting things together, and building things. So those are the ways that we manifest, right? Mars, we got to remember, just got done squaring Jupiter, and it's heading towards a square to Uranus. So I feel like the sun sextile to Jupiter, it does provide like this nice little opportunity for us to feel more into our subconscious, to really see the value in our dreams, to see the value in the life that we really do want to manifest, and to know that we are capable of it and that we are worthy of that. Now, of course, we have the moon in Scorpio during all this, going to make things a little bit more intense and a little bit deeper, especially considering the fact that that moon will square Venus at 8:09 a.m. exact at 17:10, right? So, again, we got to remember, moon doesn't like to be in Scorpio. Venus doesn't like to be in Scorpio. So it's not like Venus is very jealous of where the moon is right now. Not at all. And Venus is getting ready to square Uranus. That square is tightening. So Venus is getting pressure from the moon, and she's getting pressure from Uranus. And she just got done having sex with Mars in Aquarius, right? She just got done with that. Not to mention, she is also in sextile to Chiron as well. So I think right now we are all feeling kind of pressure from multiple sides, because I think we all have certain areas in our life that we probably feel like we're a little bit behind on. But we also can see our worth and value in these areas, but we still feel a little bit behind on. And we may bring up all these different reasons and excuses and circumstances as to why we may be behind in this area. I think a lot of it is going to come down to perception, especially with all the Piscean energy right now. We are in a battle of perception. We are in a bit of a perception war, especially once Mars goes into Pisces. That's definitely going to be a perception war. Mars is the ruler of Aries. That is the god of war. We're really heading into that space. So once Mars reaches there, we're really going to be feeling that, right? Now, like I said, this moon is Scorpio. It's going to have us feeling a little bit deeper, feeling a little bit more into the more psychological nature of things, if you will. Not to mention, when it's squaring Venus, it's going to be in quincunx to Chiron. So we get that awkward stare from across the room. I'm not gonna lie. March 1st, from what it looks like, is going to be kind of a weird day, because we have some challenging energies, but then we have some positive energies. But the challenging energies just seem like really, like we're really doing this, and a lot of this is going to come down to choice. It's going to come down to you choosing to believe in yourself, and you making the decision to what, I know there are these different circumstances. I know that I have these different things, these different challenges in life, and I know it's not always going to be easy. And I know I'm going to, in the future, have good days, and I'm going to have bad days, and I'm going to have in the between days. But it's about whether or not we can really commit, to our purpose, really commit to manifesting this beautiful life, not only obviously for ourselves, because I think a lot of it will be a lot of focus on the self, right? But I think it also has to do with the fact that there's almost like this need to really connect with other people, to really be open with people, to really be authentic with people. And that's the thing about this too, with this T square that we have with the moon, Venus, and Uranus. Venus in Aquarius, especially after coming over Pluto and being purified like that, it's looking for deeper connection right now. It's not looking for surface level shit, especially with a square to Uranus and Taurus, which is really shaking things up right now. It's no wonder, right? There's no wonder why the matrix is collapsing and people are really starting to wake up and starting to see that there is value in every single human being here, right? But some of us, some humans have been co-opted and been taken over, if we're just being real. But there is a deeper desire to get to know people. And another thing I was talking about with my coworker today is I told her, I was like, I think hookup culture is about to die. And I think a lot of that has to do with Venus and Mars going over Pluto. I think hookup culture is about to die because people are realizing that they need more. And just having simple one night stands, that's a whole other thing with this moon square Venus, right? The moon's in Scorpio, so it's definitely about desire and wanting something that's like a little bit spicy and even a little bit forbidden. But this is the first time that the moon is going to be squaring Venus after. This is going to be the first time that we have a moon in Scorpio square a Venus in Aquarius that just finished conjuncting Pluto in Aquarius. Like we haven't seen this before. So, and that's also, of course, just squared Mars before that as well. Because, like I said, and let's just go back just to verify, but like that is the first time that we have seen this. Yeah, because bam, right? Back in February, it was February 16th. I should know because that was my wife's birthday, right? Moon moved into Gemini, and then Venus moved into Aquarius. So yeah, we have not seen a moon in Scorpio square Venus after Venus conjuncted Pluto. So this is going to be a whole new energy. I think this may be the day that we'll start to see it, and like people probably will start to test with it as well. I wouldn't be surprised if people start to still test with it or whatever. And it's not going to collapse overnight, but you have to look at it too, is that it's also going to oppose Taurus right after the square to Venus. Where is Uranus? Like I said, yes, Uranus and Taurus is going, it's a square. It's going to oppose Uranus and Taurus, right? Uranus rules Aquarius. Uranus is about the collective, and it's in the house of value. So this is pretty big. People are going to start to value different things. People are going to care more about friendship more. This isn't Leo season, right? And you can have romance with Aquarius, but it's about friendship more. Okay? It's about friendship. It's about connecting with people that you have probably lived multiple lifetimes with, right? More soulmate type stuff. Not necessarily twin flame type stuff. I wouldn't say this is like, maybe once we get to Gemini, because Gemini rules twin flames, but we may see more of that stuff once Uranus and Jupiter hit. Once Jupiter hits Gemini, we may get a little bit more of the twin flame type stuff that starts to come up. But this is more friendship type stuff, kindred soulmate type stuff, right? And that's what we are looking for more. That's why so many people are just, maybe they're anxious or depressed because they've tried the whole hookup culture, they tried the whole surface level shit for such a long time, and it's not going to work anymore. It's not going to work anymore. So we are real, in many ways, we are really creating a whole new world right now. But it's going to come down to your choice and your decision on what world it's going to be, because we're not all going to the same world. We're not all going to the same world. It's being honest. So no pressure. The moon's not going to quite get to the trine to Neptune. Not quite. It's going to end at around 24 degrees or so. 24, 25 degrees or so. So it'll trine it like overnight, essentially. If you're in California, this will be like, if you're in Cali, this would be like right at the end of your night when you see this. Pretty much going into midnight, actually. So it'll be like 3:09 a.m. here. So it's going to be getting towards the later half. Then, of course, you're going to see, like I said, the sun at 12 degrees coming off of the sextile to Jupiter. And like I said, sextiles, they're not necessarily the most intense energy, but I think considering that we have a multitude of sextiles today with Venus and Chiron, and then Sun and Jupiter, and then, of course, we have the moon involved in making aspects to Venus and then making aspects to Uranus, which is with Jupiter and Taurus. It kind of, like I said, we're kind of split still between these two different worlds in many ways, And with that moon of Scorpio is having everyone feel things much more intensely, much more. People are feeling their emotions a lot more intense right now. And not a lot of people necessarily know how to handle it. The good thing is that we do have the sun in Pisces and stuff, and Mercury there as well. So it's like, it's kind of weird. That's why a lot of communication right now is a little bit more subtle. When Mercury's in Pisces, communication is a little bit more subtle. It's a little bit more, you have to pay a little bit more attention to like body language, I would say, but it's definitely a little more subtle. It's a little bit more psychic. It's a little bit like it's harder to explain. You know what I'm saying? Like more than ever right now, this is a time where you can like be thinking about someone and literally they just pop in. And then like this happened literally yesterday where I was talking to another one of my coworkers and I was saying that like, yeah, we really could use this product because we're out of it. That's what she was telling me. And then literally 5 minutes later, our manager walked in with a couple of products transferring it from another store. We had no idea, but it happened just like that. Like literally within like a minute or two of us talking of it. And she was like, oh yeah, here, I got it right here. And we're like, oh, wow, you must have read our mind. That's how fast the communication can be. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to pay attention to little synchronicities like that too. But also realize, that's the dangerous part about synchronicities. And then I'll get to the cards because when it comes to synchronicities, I think a lot of times people get too caught up in the sign itself. You know what I mean? But just kind of knowing that you're on the right track, I think is an important thing. Like if you're getting like synchronicities are signs, right? Kind of pointing you in the right direction. But if you get too caught up on the sign, you stop moving. You stop going forward. You stop traveling. You stop journeying because you get too caught up on the sign itself, And I think that's the one thing when it comes to synchronicities is to be like, okay, all right. So it's good to take note of, what you were thinking about, who you're talking to, and what you're doing. It's good to take note of those sort of things, but to just be so obsessed with, oh my God, I saw 11:11. Like that, like don't trip about that. Don't trip about that. Pay more attention to the things that were happening in that moment. Was there a certain song that you were listening to? Was there a certain lyric in that song? What is that teaching you? Different things like that. It's more important to just notice those sort of things. But like the whole like just paying attention to the sign itself, the synchronicity itself, and we freak out about that. You know what I mean? It's like that's honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That's like kind of elementary school type shit. It really is. And it's time to graduate from that understanding of manifestation and that understanding of synchronicities. So I've been saying for a while, your synchronicities at this point should be fine-tailored to you. Not saying that saying 11:11 and 2:22 and all that stuff doesn't matter. I'm just saying that the synchronicities that you should be experiencing right now should be very fine-tailored to your vibration. And like you'll know it. If it's almost so fine-tailored that it's actually hard for you to explain to somebody else because it's so unique to you. That's where the synchronicities should be at right now. You know what I'm saying? And if they're not, they probably are. You just have to be a little bit more open and aware to it. That's all. You know what I mean? So don't fret if you feel like it's not that fine tailored and stuff like that. It probably are. It's just about, you kind of opening up and like just kind of seeing that, if you will. And you're gonna have some days where you're more on it than others. You know what I'm saying? There are definitely some days where I am definitely just not there. You know what I mean? I still show up and make these videos, but there's some days where I'm just not feeling it. And the other days where it's just everything is just feeling like it's in sync. And that's just the human experience. And we can't get too down on ourselves or hard on ourselves, especially those of us in the spiritual community, if every day isn't like this magical spiritual wonderland. It's not supposed to be like that. Just saying. Yeah. Nothing wrong with having a couple of mundane days here and there. Nothing wrong with that at all. I have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Queen of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so like I said, this is definitely giving me a lot of Aquarius vibes, especially with Venus being here in Aquarius. So there's going to be some focus on that. Like I said, I think it's going to come down to the connection. And here's the thing, too, about the whole thing I was talking about with like the one night stand, the hookup culture, I think, ending. You got to remember, Mars first crossed over Pluto, too. So the masculine energy actually got it before the feminine energy. And then Venus crossed over and then they conjuncted. So I think that's kind of interesting too. So it's like, but now the feminine energy, Venus has moved past the male energy because it moves faster, right? And I think a lot of it's going to come down to more like an intuitive aspect too. You know what I'm saying? So the feminine energy is going to kind of get a little bit earlier. But I really think it's just coming down to like, especially with Venus and sextiles or Chiron too, there definitely is an opportunity to open up about our wounding to people. But because the moon is in Scorpio, there's a psychological edge to it. And because Venus is getting ready to square Uranus, we're worrying if the people that we're connecting with, if we have the same values and stuff like that. So, but this is like I said, this card is in reverse. So yeah, it's going to provide a bit of a challenge. I think this is a queen that normally has all the answers, but she doesn't have all the answers. So there could be an aspect here where, because the Queen of Swords is the most logical of the queens, right? And even she doesn't know what's going on. So she's having to employ her intuition more. So that's what I'm saying. Like the Queen of Swords in reverse, this is someone that needs to trust their gut a little bit more. They normally are very reliable on their mind and their intellect, but this is about using your intuition and using your gut more. I had that followed by the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Like I said, one of my favorite cards. This is like, I call it the In the Lab card, but with it being in reverse, you know what? Like I said, I think it's good to work on your projects and to continue moving forward, but because the Queen of Swords is in reverse too, don't focus on trying to perfect it. I think that's what this is. I think there's a focus on wanting to perfect our craft or perfect whatever it is that we're working on or have the perfect plan or something like that. But that's not going to be the case here. You know what I mean? So like you can stunt your own growth in the work that you're doing if you're so focused on it looking perfect. Because remember, this is the Eight of Pentacles. So this isn't even game time. This is like practice. I look at the Eight of Pentacles as practice. You're not even playing like the actual game yet. But there can be such a huge focus on trying to perfect it in practice. But that's the thing. You can come up with the perfect game plan in practice, and then you come to game time and you have to still adjust on the fly. You still have to audible. And I think that's where we are right now, is that maybe a lot of us have come up with like somewhat of a perfect game plan. And now that we are actually in the game itself, we're not in the lobby anymore. We're not in the pre-game. We are in the game itself. We're having to kind of audible, and that can kind of cause some frustrations. It's okay if your plan does not go perfect. It's okay if, what you did in practice, you had to adjust it a little bit. You have to tweak it. That's why there's a halftime, right? That's why most games have a halftime or at least some period of intermission. I think even baseball has it, right? The seventh inning stretch. So there's always like a period of time where the players come together and the coach come together and they strategize and they think about, okay, what happened in the first half? Did our game plan work? Cool. Let's double down on it and maybe change up a little bit of things because we know that they're going to adjust. What if our game plan went to absolute shit? What if we tried our game plan and we're down like by 3 touchdowns, right? Okay, scrap it. We got to try something else. So that's the whole thing about this. So utilize the tools in your arsenal and kind of diversify a little bit too. Don't try not to get so fixated on one little thing and realize that there's so much more to this than meets the eye. Bottom of the deck, I do have the 5 of Wands. So just be careful of like petty arguments today. I think that that can definitely be possible with the moon that's going to square Venus and then oppose Uranus, while Venus and Uranus's square is coming tighter. So, but it's the 5 of Wands. So it lets me know that honestly, this is probably surface level, really petty bullshit that you don't want to make into something bigger than it actually is, right? Now for the color card today, ooh, I don't get this card that often. I got the color purple, which is interesting. It's developmental clarity. So keyword developmental clarity. I don't think we all have mental clarity right now, but we can develop mental clarity. And I think we develop it by trusting our gut, trusting our intuition. It's going to be a little bit weird because, like I said, Mercury is moving towards Neptune. So it's going to get even more confusing. I'm not even lying. It's going to get even more confusing. But this is about, do what you can to clear your mind. Meditate, write, draw, dance, sleep, rest. Do the things that you need to do to develop the mental clarity and to try not to get so fixated on things looking a certain way. And if your game plan has to shift, then your game plan has to shift, And yeah, that's what I got for you guys today. That's going to do it for your astrology forecast this Friday, March 1st, 2024. I hope that you all enjoyed it, and I trust that it will assist you on your journey today. If you did enjoy this, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you'd like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, so you can see how these energies are affecting you personally, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful Friday, a fantastic Friday. I will see you all on the next astrology forecast. Peace.